All right. Welcome to Keeping It Real, the largest podcast made by real estate agents and for real estate agents. My name is DJ Paris. I am your guide and host through the show. And today is our monthly series called Social Bootcamp with Gogo Bethke. Let me tell you about Gogo. Now, Gogo came to the United States in 2003 to build her American dream. She was broke. She had no real estate experience, no sphere of influence, barely spoke English, and only $6 to her name. So that left her with nothing else other than, you guessed it, social media to help build her business, which is what she did and where she started. And she created Gogo's Real Estate, began her real estate career. Now, with the power of social media, Gogo has sold over, I think it's about 100 million, probably more, in real estate. She shares the good, the bad, and the ugly of real estate, and her honest snippets into her daily life have earned her tens of thousands of followers on social media. And in the real estate community, she has earned the title Queen of Social Media. Now, she presents at various conferences and speaks with realtors. And so over time, she decided to build her own social media boot camp for realtors called Gogo's Bootcamp. Today, she has a team of almost 700 agents nationwide. I'm going to pause for a second and just say how impressive this is. I recruit realtors all day long. That's my job. And we only have 800, and I've been doing this 10 years. Gogo has been recruiting realtors for like a year or two, and now she has almost 700. And she does it all through attraction, which we're going to talk about as well. But her goal is to help as many agents as possible make a name for themselves in real estate utilizing social media. And by the way, that's how she recruits people for her team too. They find her. Now, if she can do it, this girl from Transylvania, Romania, with no formal education, no sphere of influence, no money, no experience, and an accent, then anyone can do it as well. Please, please, please follow Gogo on social media, on Instagram at Gogo's, that's Gogos Real Estate. So at Gogo's Real Estate. And also please consider investing in her social media bootcamp. It's unbelievable. It's the very best product we found for social media mastery for realtors. And we have special pricing for Keeping It Real listeners. All you have to do is go to a browser and type in gogopodcast.com, gogopodcast.com, and buy it. It's the best investment you'll make for your 2022 marketing initiatives, which is also something we're going to be speaking about today. So that was a very long intro. Gogo, welcome once again to the show. Hopefully you didn't fall asleep.
No, I'm here. Thank you for having me.
I did so much talking there. I go, oh my gosh, my guest she might go, when is he going to stop talking? So thank you for being, Gogo's been with us since the very beginning, or just about the very beginning. And we have now done about 300 episodes. She is an amazing partner and always brings it every month. But I know we wanted to talk about something I don't think we've talked about before, which is closing gifts.
Yeah. And I figure since we are heading into Q4, right? Or we are, I guess, technically in Q4, this is the time when you plan your next year. I know this is also the time when you want to go out with a bang, right, in 2021 and make sure you're closing the year right. But in the same time, you also have to use this time to plan your next year so you can be prepared. I used to be one of those agents, right, myself, that running like chicken head cut off an hour before closing, right, running to my final walkthrough. And then from between the final walkthrough and the closing table, somewhere in the middle, I would hit a grocery store for a bottle of wine, or I would do what I like, trying to think for a bouquet of flowers, or what am I going to get them as a closing gift, right? And I don't recommend for you to do that. Learn from my mistakes. It took me quite a few years to figure out that I'm not doing it right. So what we do today, actually we pre-order all of our closing gifts. So if you know, let's say this year you closed 30 transactions, right? And so assume you're going to close 40 or whatever your goal is for next year. This is the time when you want to figure out, okay, what is that nice universal gift that you can A, give for everyone, but B, that it's also marketing. Right? Like you want to make sure that people are actually going to use it. Then every time they use it, it sparks who sold my house, right? Or who got me this house, right? So what we do, we have a company that we partnered with quite a long time ago now, and we order all of our branded material from them. And think of it this way, as long as your company logo is on there, it's considered marketing for your business. And if it's marketing, it's 100% write-off. I'm no CPA. This is my disclosure. Go talk to your CPA, whatever state that you're located in, right? But that's what we do. So here's one of the marketing items that we do. Every single closing gift has a cutting board, so they can use it for their charcuterie board, right? Whatever that's pronounced.
I love it.
I can't pronounce the fancy word. They have them in all different sizes. This is the smallest one. They have 4 different front designs, but the back is the most important in my opinion, because that's where you get to personalize it. So this one shows Gogo's real estate team. It shows my brokerage, and it also shows Team Gogo, because those are the things that people know me for. And then it says with small letter rise there, it was a pleasure working with you, right? So it is branded. Now imagine they had a party, right? They have their cheese and grapes and whatever out, and now they're gonna have to do the dishes. When they're doing it, they're gonna flip it over.
Exactly.
You're like, oh, Gogo got us this, right? So your goal is to have your brand in your client's home. Did you know that within 2 years of helping someone buy or sell a home, 80% of the people forget who the realtor was?
It's shocking, but not surprising, I guess, is a way. It's like, it shouldn't be, but it makes sense because realtors, it's a transactional business, and we oftentimes move on to our next client and we forget about the person we just helped. Maybe we don't forget about them the day after they're closing, but maybe 2 years after they're closing, we're like, oh God, when did that person close? So yeah. So how do you help? So by the way, I want to back up just a moment, because Gogo said something really, really important with respect to closing gifts. She was, and this is really funny because I so couldn't agree with you more, because I do most of the cooking in my relationship, although my girlfriend loves to cook, but I'm kind of a control freak. So I end up doing most of the cooking, but that means I am spending a lot of time on a cutting board. Every single time I cook, I use a cutting board because, I can't cut right down onto my, nice new countertops. Right. Everyone does, right? We all use cutting boards. We all use knives, right? You can get knives that are branded that have, something cute on it. You can get cutting boards. And what Gogo's is great because she didn't put in, and for those of you listening, what you didn't see, if you're not watching and you're just listening, the back of hers had her brand on it, the back of the cutting board. And that was probably by design, because maybe we want something. And on the front of it, she had like a cute little saying like home sweet home, things like that. On the back of it, it had the design. And you might think, well, if it's on the back, no one's going to see it, but absolutely they're going to see it when, as she said, they turn around and wash it. So you don't have to necessarily put your name front and center so that they're cutting on it, because, let's face it, maybe we don't really want to see our realtor's name on our cutting board staring at us while we're cutting, but they still will see it if it's on the backside. Is that why you did it that way? I was just curious why you didn't.
Same thing, even on my social media stuff, I don't shove down on people's throat what I do for a living, right? Like I don't do it on my personal face to be like, hey guys, who wants to sell a house with me? Who wants to buy a house with me? Like I've never done that. If you followed me, and I've been in social media for over 11 years now, you'd probably never seen me as someone for business. So I don't do that. But in the same time, it is my job to make sure that you know what I do for a living, right? Yeah. So it's very subtle. You don't feel like I'm selling you anything, but in the end of the day, you remember who I am and what I do for a living. Because when you flip it over to watch the other side, it's going to be like, oh yeah, that's right. Gogo got us this, right?
Yeah. Where did I get this? Yeah.
That is your job. Yeah.
Anything that is used daily, if you can get somebody something that they use regularly in their home, and it somehow just jogs their memory that you provide. Everyone's got a favorite knife that they cut with. Everyone's got a favorite, things in their kitchen. They have favorite things, other parts of their home. If you can get them something that's important to them. So if your client's into cooking, perfect. Get them something cooking. Okay. So yeah,
very, very quick to that. So we order these and we have a big box of them, and I'm good for the year, right? So every time a closing happens, we already have the pre-branded bags. And for that, all you need to do, guys, is go on like a Walmart or whatever website, or order one colored bag. So ours is usually red. Order a nice red bag or black or whatever your color, branded color is. Then go on like Vistaprint, order your logos, right? Like just a simple sticker. And then you buy the bags, you stick the logos on there, you put the cutting board on there, you're good to go. And then you can take it from there and personalize it. So if you would like to put in a peanut butter cake, or if you would like to put a bottle of wine or a champagne or something else in there, but at least you have a gift that's always going to stay there. They're not going to consume this, right? They can consume my cutting board. They can consume the bottle of wine and then it's gone.
Right.
But the cutting board is going to stay on the counter. This one is actually, you guys can't see it, so I'm going to describe it for you very quick. This one is actually like a decor piece. Like I have it in my kitchen right next to the stove, and in front of it, I have the salt and pepper and the case of the butter, right? So it's going to stay up there as a decor piece, but you can also use it as a charcuterie board, cut your vegetables, whatever you want on it. So it's a used item, but it's always on there on my kitchen counter, and I can stare at it right next to my stove. So we have these for every single buy side or listing side, but here's a good one that I I love. We used to do this on every single buy side, but then we got carried away a little bit. So if you have some more time than we have on Gogo's real estate team, then the other amazing closing gift, and our clients love it, where they literally call us back when it's faded, they want to order another one, is doormats. Personalized doormats. So for buyers, we got doormats every time. And it would say, through the transaction, you get to know your buyer. And let's say you figure out that they love U of M, right? Or they love golf, or they have a bulldog, so let's say they had a bulldog, right? We say the Betke's, the name of the house, I say. So it says with big letters in the middle, the Bethke's. Then I have a bulldog on the top right, a cute little bulldog face. Then I have some puppy paws in here, and it says established 2021.
Love that.
Back though, the bottom again, so it's not my brand, right? I don't want everybody to see it on top, but on the bottom, it has the Gogo's real estate team logo, the phone number, and all that. Now, after when people come to their door, they're going to put it out, right? Because they're like, oh my God, this is our first house together. Like, we bought this in 2022. They're so excited. 2021, right? They're so excited. They have that doormat. People are going to start using it, right? People come and go, they wipe their feet. It's going to start fading. And they're like, oh my gosh, we love our doormat. Can we have another one? Well, guess what guess what just happened? They called you, right? Because they remember that they got it from you. That's your job. Your job is for them to remember you and remember how to get a hold of you. Because if they can get a hold of you for a doormat, can they get a hold of you to sell that house when they're having a baby and it's not big enough anymore?
And also you can tell them too, hey, by the way, if this ever fades, ever starts looking crappy, let me know and I'll replace it.
Exactly. So you will stay in front of them all the time. Now, Christy, my right hand, used to make these because she has a Cricut and she used to make it. If you have a Cricut and you're good with this kind of DIY kind of stuff, you can make your own closing gifts, right? It's not going to cost you anything. Go buy it, buy some ink, put in a Cricut, print it, roll it up, put a big red bow on it, and go to the closing table. But because Christy is now running multiple businesses, because she's grown with me, she doesn't have the time anymore, and we didn't find a local company who can do that. But I'm sure if you put some time and effort into it, you can find a local company or buy your own Cricut and just design your own closing gifts. And the doormats are just a huge hit every time.
Quick question. You had said earlier that 80% of people forget who their realtor is within a couple of years. And by the way, that happened to my parents. They had an investment property, really a vacation home on the East Coast. It took them years to sell it because it was just bad timing in the market. Eventually it sold, and they had gone through like 4 or 5 realtors over like 5 years to try to sell this place. Eventually it sold. And I said to my dad, hey, who is that person you used out there? And he goes, I'd have to look it up. I don't remember. Isn't that amazing? And this, and my parents liked this person. They liked this person. It wasn't, they didn't go, oh, that guy, I don't know. They were like, no, we really love that guy. He sold the home. No idea what his name was.
And then you don't even have to ask your people. So this is where social media comes in, right? You're going to stay in front of them for the rest of their life as long as they follow you. So when it comes to the social media portion of it, let's say it's a buyer, right? Let's say they don't know of your existence. Somehow they found their way to you and now you're working together. During the showings and stuff, you're going to want to take a picture together or whatever. And then you're going to post that picture, right? I'm showing homes to Jessica and James right over here, right? And then when I'm about to post it, I ask Jessica, hey, is this okay if I just post it? Do you want me to tag you? And then Jessica said, oh yeah, we would love to. And then you tag Jessica, guess what's going to happen? Jessica's going to get notified that you tagged them, and then Jessica's going to follow your page. And she's also going to share it. Now, all of Jessica's friends see it, but since she followed your page, is she going to be able to see everything you do between now and the next time they need a realtor?
No, I mean, she can for sure.
She will see you from now until forever, until she unfollows you.
Until she unfollows.
Hopefully she doesn't, right? So your job is to stay in front of them. If you can stay in front of them and constantly remind them of your existence, when they are ready next time to buy or sell, which people on average move every 7 years in the US, they're going to call you.
The other thing you can do too, and Facebook sometimes does this, although I don't think they do it perfectly. And this is why I was saying no earlier, because I was thinking about this other thing, which is something that you can do, and it's fun. So this just happened to me. Just to pull back the curtain a little bit, I was married previously, and my ex-wife is a veterinarian, and so she was the one who now is the reason why I have the dog that I have. And we still have we're still very amicable, but we don't really communicate much. But Facebook reminded me 13 years ago that when my ex-wife brought the dog home, and so I sent it to my ex-wife saying, "Hey, do you remember when this happened? I thought it was kind of a cute memory." And she goes, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing." So it got me to think, what you were saying about taking pictures when you're showing somebody, maybe they're buying, in the process of buying or selling, take some pictures, and then you don't have to wait for Facebook to do it, because Facebook doesn't always do it, it doesn't seem, but sometimes it'll say, hey, remember a year ago you were doing this memory with so-and-so. You can also just say, hey, I was going through my photos and I found this picture of us. Remember when we were out doing we went and saw that property, we didn't like it at all? Or remember when the first time we saw the property that you ended up buying? I have a picture of that. Take pictures of it, post it on social media and say, hey, I was just going through, I found this picture from 2019 that I was showing, and we ended up buying the home. I mean, that's content for social media, and you can send it to the client and
reach out again, right? So you're going to reach out with that screenshot. It's like, oh my gosh, it was 3 years ago. How is the home treating you?
Yes.
Do you have a need for a painter? Here's our preferred vendors list. If you need absolutely anything, if there's any way that I can help you, please don't hesitate to reach out. I hope the home is treating you well, right? It's just another reason to keep reaching back out and keep giving, right? So I just gave you now our preferred vendors list. And on the preferred vendors list, I have painters and dog walkers and lenders, and maybe you want to refinance right now, right? I have my preferred lenders on there. Pick one. Maybe you have a real estate question, call me. Just stay in front of them.
Yeah, it's I think we all spend so much time on social media thinking about, how do I create the perfect post, when really what we want to do is just elicit emotion.
Just put something out there.
Just put something out there that's authentic, especially if you have it's like, document things. When you go out with somebody, take a few pictures and say, hey, there's going to be a time where we are going to be at a closing table and you're going to forget about all these homes that we saw. So I might snap a few pictures along the way, and just to sort of down the road, maybe remind you of the experience, or maybe you create a little video of that process, right? There's tools to do that. But there's a good reason to do that. And then, sending people that stuff over the years after the transaction is just going to drum up all those great memories. I would love to have seen, a couple pictures of when I bought my first condo. Like, I would love to have seen my reaction as I walked in, because we all know that buyers oftentimes, when they walk in and they just know within 10 seconds, they're like, this is it, or they at least think that it might be it. And wouldn't it have been cool to have somebody capture a little snapshot? Now, obviously, not everyone wants their picture taken like that, but if you have pictures like that,
actually, one of our closing gifts, one of our best closing gifts, I thought that was most personalized, right? It was these clients, and Christy actually helped me out, and she was showing the house to them because I was out of town. And they are in the front of the house. The two of them are facing the house. So it's their back to Christy, right? She's behind them. And so she just snapped a quick little photo. This is the first time they fell in love with the home they end up buying, and it's their first home together, right? So the two of them are just standing together. His arms are around her. They're just staring at the house from the outside. Christy shot a quick photo, and that was our closing gift. We blew that up,
awesome.
put it in a nice frame, and they were like, oh my gosh, it's the first time we saw this home, and that's us in the home, and it was just so personal. So if you have that moment, grab it, and that can be your closing gift.
Oh my gosh, what a good, amazing gift. And they are going to look at that and feel good every time it's when it's hanging on their wall.
And don't show it to right until the closing table. So then it's
don't even let them know. Yeah, don't even let them. Oh my gosh.
So snap a photo every time you're showing them a house, right? You don't know which one they're going to fall in love with. You don't know which one is going to be the one that you actually win right now. Even if they fall in love with it, they might not mean that you're actually going to get it, right? How crazy the market is. But if you just get into the habit of like snapping those moments of your clients, and then when you're closing gift, that's the one you have the closing gift for them, and it's personalized.
I love that. And just, the good thing about memories is memories can be revisited, and you can, make sure that your clients can revisit those memories by you sending them these pictures once a year. Hey, remember a year ago when you saw this? Yes, it's a closing gift. Yes, it's also a memory. Take photos, document things, and then you don't have to worry about providing as much knowledge value where you're, talking about facts and figures on social media, which you can totally do as well. That's all great stuff. But what people probably want more than that is they want to be reminded of the great experiences they've had with you, and then they're just never going to go anywhere else. They're never going to work with another realtor.
People remember the feeling that you made them feel.
Yeah. So everything you should do should be to invoke feeling. And And then, let's talk about your vendor list, by the way, because I think this is important. This is a really good action step for every agent should have their own vendor list. So talk about yours and how you created it.
So I can take credit for this one. This is actually my husband's doing. He's a licensed realtor now too, and it was his idea in the first place. But here's a big question, and answer me this question honestly. Do you expect, this is to the listeners, right? I know your answer, DJ, but let's ask the listeners. Do you expect your friends and family to use you as their realtor?
I'm going to pause for 1 second as you're going to answer yes before I have to do a quick sponsor break. So bear with me. So the question, and by the way, I'm going to throw a statistic on top of this before we come back, which is 16% of the people you know, friends and family, 16% of the people you know are going to need a realtor in the next 12 months. But before we get to that, I want to talk about our amazing sponsor, which is Follow Up Boss. We love Follow Up Boss. After interviewing hundreds of top realtors in the country, do you know which CRM is used more often by the guests on this podcast? Follow Up Boss. Let's face it, following up is the key to taking your business to the next level. Follow Up Boss will help you drive more leads in less time with less effort. But don't take my word for it. Robert Slack, who runs the #1 team in the United States, uses Follow Up Boss, and he built a $1.5 billion real estate business within 6 years. Follow Up Boss integrates with 250 different systems so you can keep your current tools and lead sources. They also have 7-day-a-week support, so you'll get the help you need. And get this, Follow Up Boss is so sure you're going to love their CRM that for a limited time, they're offering Keeping It Real listeners a 30-day free trial. That's twice as much time as they give everybody else. And oh yeah, no credit card required, but only if you use a special link. Visit followupboss.com/real. That's followupboss.com/real for your free 30-day trial. Follow up like a boss with Follow Up Boss. Okay, back to our show. Gogo. Yes, let's talk about, yes, I do expect, and I expect our listeners are going, yes, I expect my friends and family to use me as a realtor. Sure.
Exactly, right? So then now answer me this question. So since you're expecting them to know what you do for a living and use you for those services, right? Do you use them?
Good question. Reciprocity, right?
Do you know what your friends and family, your Facebook friends, if they have a side business, do you know what they do for a living? Do you know how you can support them and feed their family? Because you're expecting them to feed your family. Do you feed theirs? And that's when it occurred to me, then hold on a minute. If I'm expecting all these people to know that I'm a realtor and most importantly, use me as their realtor, right? Then I should certainly use Joe Schmo as my friend when I need somebody to lay hardwood floors. I should use Joe Schmo as my friend when I need somebody to paint my house. I should use Joe Schmo when I need to refinish my deck and a plumber and a this and a that and absolutely anything that I need, not only personally, but all of the listings, right? Like, if you need a plumber, who do you use? You just call a local company, or do you actually go into the effort of figuring out if you have a friend who's a plumber?
Yeah.
So that's how, go ahead.
No, please.
That's how the preferred vendors list started, with the idea of, hold on a minute, who do I know? And what do they do for a living? And is there a way for me to support them? Do I need their services through the process of listing or selling a home, or even my own personal needs? So the preferred vendors list, it's a Google document that we created. It kind of like an old Excel sheet, right? It has their name, email address, phone number, the address of the property, what they do, how we can get a hold of them, and if they're a discount that they're giving to the Google real estate team clients. So we have lenders, we have title companies, anything, stagers, moving companies, plumbers, electricians, dog walkers, churches, you name it, whatever you could possibly need that you can put on there. And also think of it this way. There's a thing in real estate called steering, right? So you don't want to, sorry, I'm keep having this thing pop up on my screen. You don't want to get caught steering. So if you're referring a plumber, you're going to refer 3. If you're referring a painter, you're going to refer 3. Same with lenders, title companies, you name it. So you should have multiple options on there. And of course, I only refer the ones that I personally worked with and I trust, and I know they're going to show up, right, and do a good job. Because what's going to happen when you refer someone? Can they ruin your reputation?
100%.
Yeah, so you want to be very, very selective of who you allow to be on your preferred vendors list. Ideally are the people that you already worked with and you trust them and they did work for you, right? And they did a good job. And then they're going to be able to come on that preferred vendors list. And that is the document that goes out as the very first email to everybody that's thinking about working with us. So it could be buyer, seller, renter, name it. as the very first email, as we are introducing ourselves and our team and who's working on the buy side with them or listing side or what it looks like to do a transaction with us, that email goes out as the first email, and we explain the preferred vendors list is attached to the process. You're going to need different companies and different services. We can't possibly get to the closing table without their services, right? Like title companies, lenders, all of those things.
Sure.
Whoever you need through the process, please feel free to do your own judgment, right? Interview them, choose the one that fits your needs best. But here's the list of the ones that we have worked with in the past and we love, and they did a great job and we recommend. But you can use whoever you want. And then now you're referring Joe Schmo as the painter, right? So Joe is just your friend, and suddenly just this month alone, 4 leads came from you, and now he's painting 4 people's homes, getting them ready for the market, right? Or maybe they just moved in, they need to have the home painted. Now Joe is like, oh my gosh, Gogo sent me 4 clients this week, right? And then Joe's going to go to a party and they're in the kitchen, over the kitchen island, and somebody talks about, oh my gosh, we have to sell our house, we just got a new job in Ohio and we have to move. And then Joe's going to say, I have the perfect realtor for you, because now Joe owes me, right?
Right.
Does he really owe me? No, he doesn't, but he feels like he does, because I fed his family 4 times this month or week, right? Now he's going to want to make sure to feed mine. So you always give before you take, right? So you give to people. Eventually they're going to give back to you. So that's how the preferred vendors list starts in the first place. It was my husband's idea. He created the whole document. We use it day in and day out. Every single client gets it. And not only that, but it gives you content too. So let's say you don't have it built out yet, right? You only have 1 lender out there. Then this Tuesday, you're going to make a post and you're going to say, hey guys, I'm building out my preferred vendors list. I only have 1 lender at the moment. I'm looking for 2 awesome lenders in our area. Maybe you're looking for somebody who does new construction because your previous lender doesn't. Maybe you're looking for someone who can give you a loan for vacant land because your previous lender doesn't. Maybe you're looking for someone who can do rural development because your previous lender doesn't. Maybe you're looking for someone who can do doctor's loan because your previous lender doesn't, right? So now you're building out not only your own portfolio, so now you can just get anybody pre-approved, but you're also now building out all of these referring partners, because when you send 3 leads this week alone to the lender over there, now they're going to be like, I better send the lead to Gogo.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's great too, because you can, and it's a good idea to reach out to these services. Like, let's say you're looking for a plumber and you want to find, call 3 or 4 plumbers and say, hey, I'm a realtor. I deal with a lot of plumbing issues. My clients are always in the, pretty much every home has some sort of plumbing issue, as obviously, I would love to start referring business to you. And then are you accepting new clients? And of course, the answer is always going to be yes, yes, yes. Say, great. I'd love to add you to my preferred vendor list. I'd also like to maybe come and meet with you and do like we could do like a little interview about, here's some things that first-time home buyers don't know when they're buying a property about plumbing. Here's some things to look out for. It'll help your business. It'll help my business. We'll both push it out on social media. I know, Gogo, you were just going to say all those things. So I just, I decided to say them for you.
That is amazing. That creates content, right? So if you're not busy showing houses today, well, then create yourself something to do that is going to market your business. Visit that plumber, right? And interview them and say, hey, what does a new home buyer need to know about buying the home? So in our area, when someone does a water testing, arsenic is not a part of the water test. So that is my job to let them know that, hey, that you have a 50-50 chance that there's arsenic in your water, and they are not even testing for it in the regular water test. So if that's important to you, and then maybe this plumber now can explain it to the people of how to get a reverse osmosis system installed and what does that thing cost, and can you do it yourself, or maybe they can just call him and he installs it for them, right? So now you're constantly giving content, you're helping them out with something they don't know anything about. It makes you an expert, right? Because now you know something they don't know. It automatically makes you an expert, gives you content. There comes your next client.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm in the process right now. As a guy, I have big giant speakers that sit on the floor. They're like almost 5 feet tall. They're massive. They're just massive speakers. I've got 4 of them, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. My girlfriend wants to kill me because she does not want big giant. What's that? Yeah. Well, I try to keep I try to keep the volume down, but I just love big speakers because I'm a guy. well, not everybody loves big speakers. So my girlfriend said, well, what if we could at least remove two of the rear speakers and maybe we'll come up with little smaller ones and have them hang from the wall or something. And so anyway, so now I'm in this process of trying to figure this out. And what I did is I said, oh, maybe I'll get in-wall speakers where speakers are built into the wall at the ceiling or on the wall for my rear surround speakers, which are aesthetically probably a lot more appeasing to my girlfriend. So my point is I don't know anything about this. So I am now searching all over online, trying to figure out what the cost of this, how does it work? And is this something that people do think about when they're moving? Of course they think about it, especially if they have a guy like me who's into music or sound. They're going to want to figure out what am I going to do with my speakers? And they're going to want to know how easy is it to install something into a wall? Well, that's a video. You call up a speaker guy and say, hey, I'm a realtor and some of my clients want to know about speaker stuff. So could we talk about that? I come and interview you. So that's another just quick idea. And I'm now in the process. And by the way, guys, how did I actually do my research? We have a Facebook group for our building, just for the owners. And I said, has anyone done in-home speaker stuff or in-wall speaker? If so, can you send me a referral? I'm doing the same thing that your clients are going to do, but you want them to contact you. You don't want them to contact random people on Facebook.
Exactly. You got it. So preferred vendors list, it's amazing because you are going to have to reach out to these people, right? So you're going to reach out to a high school friend and be like, oh my gosh, Jimmy, I see that you live in our area. I haven't seen you in 14 years. Just calling to see what you do for a living, trying to see if I can support your family, right? And in return, Jimmy's going to say, what do you do for a living, right? Next thing you know, Jimmy knows I'm a realtor, but in the same time, maybe Jimmy installs speakers and now I'm going to add him to my preferred vendors list.
I love it. And let's finish up talking about Gogo's Bootcamp, because this is really such an important investment that I think every one of our listeners should make. I cannot more highly recommend this product. And in fact, it's about the only product we do recommend on the entire show outside of our wonderful sponsors. This is an incredible way to grow your business and improve your branding around social media and give you an actual structure and strategy to get not only more followers, but more engagement, and to just have people remember that this is what you do. You're a realtor, but you need a structure and you need to learn the skills. Tell us about Gogo's Bootcamp.
So Gogo's Bootcamp started with the idea of, I was kind of forced into figure out social media, right? I had no sphere. I had no money to market myself. I had a weird name. I had an accent. So I was forced to figure out social media so I can make it in real estate. And through the years, it went from like, that chick is weird because she's taking selfies all the time. And fast forward a few years, becoming a top producing agent locally and nationwide, became like, why do you do that, Gogo? How do you do that? Tell me more about Facebook business page. How do I integrate something with Zapier? How do I hire a virtual assistant? When do I hire an assistant? All of those things. And then everything in my case, it ties back to social media. It turned into a course where we have hundreds and hundreds of hours where I literally explain anything that you possibly need, everything that I do today through the years. I explain step by step, and then all of the links, how you can get access to that tracker, or how you can watch a video about that furthermore. It's in the course. So think of it this way. Anything that I have learned in the 11 years of my career, it's in that course when it comes to social media. And not just social media, right? Like social media, if you're good at lead generation, eventually you're going to have to build a team. So then we talk about team building, right? Like how do you do that? When do you hire your first assistant? What is a transaction coordinator? Where to find them? What is a VA? How do you hire a VA? What's your job description? How much do you pay? Where do you find them? All of those things that I have today is inside of the bootcamp. And it's called Gogo's Bootcamp Social Media course. We also have another one that's agent attraction course. So we have two different courses depending what is important to you. If you want to build a brand and lead generate with that brand, that would be the social media course. If you want to have everything that I have, from team building from the basics all the way to team building and making multiple 7 digits passively, it's in the social media course. If you want to know how to build a team and agent attract, not recruit, because I don't recruit, I haven't called anyone, they call me, then we have an agent attraction course, which is different from social media. So those are the two things. They are both video based. You can watch it on your own time and pretty much implement everything as you're learning it to have everything that I have. So it's like your social media house, right? I help you build it from foundation up.
Yeah, it's just an all-in-one encompassing platform for really branding and marketing yourself through social media and also other ancillary parts of the businesses. Like Gogo was saying, it's like, hey, when's it time to get an assistant? When's it time to build a team? And how do I do that? What are some best practices? And you get access to her entire community of realtors who are already part of this and sharing best practices with each other. So go to gogopodcast.com, check it out, purchase it. I promise you it'll be an incredible investment that will pay itself over pretty quickly by multiples of, I mean, it's just by 100 times, you know, within.
I mean, a half a transaction will pay for a course.
Yeah, that's a pretty good return on investment. I would love to give somebody something and have them return, you know, that kind of income. So, guys, even if it only ever did one transaction, it would more than pay for itself. But it will certainly give you way more than that. So go to gogopodcast.com. Gogo, I think this is a great place to wrap up. And Gogo's all over the place. Are you going to be speaking anywhere before the end of the year that our audience should know about?
I literally just came back from Arizona. I spoke 4 times in 3 days. I think my head is spinning and I'm still recovering from last week. But I don't know if I have now anything. I haven't checked my events calendar, to be honest with you. Now that I have Mariana as my right hand, she just plugs the stuff in there for me. And I was supposed to speak in Vegas and I didn't find out in time, and I double booked myself. So now I can't go to Vegas, which was the first week of November. But other than that, I guess just go to my name, gogobethke.com, and on my events tab, you can see all of my upcoming events. And also the preferred vendors list, it's on my links. So if you just go to myname.com, gogobethke.com, when you go to links, you can get the exact copy of the preferred vendors list and download it for yourself and just kind of start building your own.
I love it. Everyone also check out her bootcamp, Gogo's Bootcamp, which is gogopodcast.com for special pricing for Keeping It Real listeners. Gogo, thank you once again for being on our show. We love having you on every month. You provide so much incredible value. And by the way, if you want to join Gogo's team or learn more about what she offers agents, what's the best way that agents should reach out to you?
So Instagram is the only platform that you get me personally. Every other platform I have virtual assistants. So you can go to Instagram at Gogo's Real Estate, or just go to myname.com. So gogobethke.com. There's a button that's called Partner with Me, and you can watch videos, see who I am, how we work. I do not take a cut. So we pretty much just become business partners, and I'll help you with anything that I can possibly help you with.
Love it. Well, on behalf of Gogo and myself, we want to thank our audience for continuing to listen and support our show. Thanks to our sponsor, Follow Up Boss. Thanks to Gogo, our great guest, as always. And as usual, please tell a friend. Think of one other real estate professional that could benefit from hearing this great conversation with Gogo with all sorts of actionable strategies, and send them a link to our podcast. Send them over to keepingitrealpod.com, which is where all of our episodes live, and they can stream it right there from their browser.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I forgot to mention these cutting boards. If you want them, there's also a link. So if you just go to my name, gogobethke.com, and go to links, you're going to find the Team Gogo store. Even though that's branded to my name, you can change out my brand to your team's brand, right? Or your brokerages or your personal brand. And you can order these if you like at a 10% discount.
Awesome. So go to gogobethke.com. That's gogobethke.com. Gogobethke.com. We'll put that in the show notes as well. Get those cutting boards for your clients. They will use them several times a week and think about you. Gogo, we will see you on the next episode. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.